stitched our neckline seam. Remember we stopped 1 centimetre seam allowance before the seam allowance, so we should have a bit of an opening there. We should have pre-rubbed those seams. We haven't glued them yet. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to put our right sides together, because we're going to match up that end point on our stitch line with the end point underneath, so that they match in exactly those 2 points there, so they match in exactly the same place. Really important that those 2 points are matching, those 2 seam lines are matching. So that point and this point need to be exactly the same place. We're then going to use double-sided sticky tape around that corner to stick them all together so that they don't move. So get out our sticky tape. Okay, and really your double-sided sticky tape mainly needs to be around your corner to stop that from moving, because the straights and the ends here you should be able to hold together, and in at the where the seam starts, that's kind of important too. So stick all them down. Okay, really important. Let's match up those 2 points for a start. Make sure those 2 points are exactly in the same position, and then we can put our double-sided tape together. Press it. Now, because that point is so important, that's where I'm going to begin. I'm going to back tack into that and stop, and then move my way around and finish up over here. Okay? If I walk in, stitch in this way, what I could be doing is pushing fabric top or bottom a certain direction, and that point may not match. So if I know that I want it to match, let's start there for a start. Walk into it and out of it. Because I've got my double-sided tape, it should be holding it in place. So it should be 1 centimetre seam allowance. Make sure that seam goes away from the corner, so it's coming towards me, because I don't want to stitch that seam allowance. Okay, 1 centimetre seam allowance. I'm going to do my walk into it, my 3. Hard to see with black and red. Walk into my corner. Right on that corner. Make sure I'm not catching any of that under seam allowance. Pivot it around, and then we're going to stitch out. Make sure it's all sitting flat, neat. Okay, now stitch out of it. Into the corner. I'm going to walk my way, you know me, I'm a bit of a walker. I'm very not confident with my corners. One stitch at a time. Okay, ease my way. Now that I've got that all together, continue sewing. It doesn't matter whether you stitch from this way or that way, top side or bottom side, makes no difference. You might prefer to stitch from the other side so that you've got the foot guide to guide your 1 centimetre seam allowance. To the end, you can back take and stop. Okay. The most important point, once you've done this, is to check that that stitch line is meeting there at that point. Flick it over. Meeting there on both sides. That's coming in and meeting exactly. They should be both coming in. If they are half a stitch away, that's fine, but you wouldn't want them to be much more than that. Making sure that you haven't caught in any of your seam allowance. You can even flip it open if you wanted to, just to make sure that you're really close to that point. So that's the most important thing that we're trying to do, and that's why we start from that point and then work away from it. You should have also stitched around your curvy corner. So just to double check that your curvy corner is a nice neat curve. Remembering drawing it helps you, because then you can just follow your pen line or your pencil line that you've got, because it helps you. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to the table to finish off this stage 2.